Hello and welcome back to the World of AI podcast. We're here again with our co-host André Stamm. Hi André.
Hi Mona, how are you?
I am great, and my name is Tenjo. And today, let's talk about some use cases, okay? So, we talked a lot about the history of AI and all the great benefits it has. Now, let's get it down to practical application. So, I hope that some of you are really eagerly waiting for that. So, let's pump this up. So, ready? Take your pen out, right? And take some notes for this. So, we are clustering this a little bit, okay? So, today we focus on the owners of a business, CEOs, right? So, senior management positions, like the people who are escalated to when nobody else finds solution, right? So those guys we're talking about, the strategic heads of the company. So how can these people use AI? So Andre, what do you think? Where can it help them?
They can help them at several parts, and a good starting point is just ask the AI, how can I start with you, with the as owner, what question can I ask you? So the AI will direct get you some answers. And that is the first use case. If you have any question in mind, just ask the AI to get some answers, because you get an overview, and with the overview, you can ask the next question. You can deep dive into that part as well. And sometimes the answers are not wrong. Okay, that's okay. Um, it's the same as with your employees. If you ask them something, you will get sometimes a good answer, sometimes not a good answer. So it's your responsibility what you are doing with the answer. And that is really a good starting point, just to play with the AI and ask the questions. You get a question from your employee, and or you yourself has a question, so you can play with the AI and go deep into that. That is the first one I would suggest.
Yeah, and I think this is a great example because probably all senior managers know you have some people that you just vibe with, right? And they know immediately what you want from them. You don't have to give them big explanation. You tell them a sentence, they know exactly what you want, right? Those are your favorite employees usually. Now, the reason why they actually do know what you want is because they know you as a person. They worked with you before, right? They know exactly what you want. They figured it out. Now, consider when you start using AI, it doesn't know you yet. Okay, so you have to consider that. Don't just say like it's trash, it doesn't work. It has to get to know you first. Okay, so that's something you have to keep in mind, just like with your employees, right? They have to get to know you first, and same is true with the technology. So just give it a little bit of time and the learning curve on that end. Now, another, I think, great use case, and this goes a little bit in the direction of what you just mentioned, like just ask, right? It's also like use it as a sparring partner, right? Because often, especially as a senior manager, right? I mean, of course, you may have your external circles, your masterminds, people where you, like maybe coaches, maybe some strategic advisors. But sometimes you don't know if they're really telling you the best answers, right? So sometimes you want to double check, like, is that really the only way we can go? Like, is there any other way? And you may not really necessarily have somebody to talk to necessarily at all points in time. Maybe you're working late and you want to check something like after hours, right? That sometimes happens. I mean, AI is available 24/7 at any time you want it. So you can easily go in there and say, hey, I have this question, I have this situation, what do you think about that? Is that really the only way? Is there any other way? And just use it as a sparring partner to come up with, alternative solutions, double checking decisions, like, hey, give me the pros and cons, are we missing anything? Like just getting a better insight, because it just has so much data it can pull from. It may bring up some angles that haven't been considered yet, which might be very interesting to double check with the experts that are providing you that information.
But to be very clear, that the AI will not replace any coach. Every entrepreneur, from my point of view, need a coach or more coaches to avoid mistakes. To make it, mistakes are important to make, because that is a learning curve for every business owner. It's very important, but the very expensive mistakes you can avoid with a coach. And the AI can support you with the smaller questions, or to get out of the tunnel. So sometimes as an owner, we know we have a problem, we know direct possible solutions. But maybe there are some ways around this solution. And that would be a good part. If you ask the AI, you will get several different ways, and sometimes there's a way as a solution which you are not thought about it in the first place.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is a very typical thing. We happen to, we operate with the frameworks we know, obviously. You don't know what you don't know, right? So we're operating inside the frames that we are known and we are familiar with, but sometimes we may be missing things that are outside of. I mean, I had a case one time with a big company, and they told us, like, look, our people are really good in analyzing data, but then when it comes to making the decision, they always fall back to the same three scenarios. Although there are 100 out there, they always pick the same three. And I think this is very typical to everybody, right? So we have our favorite go-to solutions we tend to go back to, but then sometimes there may be better ones we haven't considered yet. And that's a great way to double check what else is out there, right? Am I missing something? And just to get other ideas. And I think this feeds right into some other use cases, right? So talking about models, I mean, decision models and so on, right? AI has all the big business models that we know, right? The pest analysis, the SWOT analysis, all the financial analysis. It has all of the data. It knows how such things work. So we can use the fact that AI knows that thing and basically give it some input and get the input for such analysis in a super short amount of time. Now, of course, it requires a human, right? So we need the human in the loop to double check, does it make sense for my business, right? Because depending on how much information you feed in, you may only get a limited set of responses, so you still have to double check. But all of these analysis can be done like this and much more. What else can it do, André?
Yeah, and as the business owner, it's your responsibility to get the answers in the right view. So you know your business very good, and the AI could make a mistake at this part. But if you are putting in the information, as Mona just said, you can also ask which methodology should I use to analyze it. So you get an idea which would be a good analyze system for that. As well, especially for all the finance analyze of your company, you can just put in some of your bookings or the balance sheet into the system and just ask what is odd on this balance sheet. And the system will direct say, okay, you have a look on your inventory. There's something not correct because there are 2 months are not booked. And it's very easy, and you get some answers at it. I did it before, and I was incredible what mistakes in the booking just from the big data the ChatGPT or Copilot found. That was good. Also finance analysis, that is one of the part.
Maybe you also have project suggestions that come to your table, right? And they may have meetings organized, and I mean, sometimes, like, even if you tell people, like, keep it to one page, sometimes they give you more than you wanted to, right? And we all know, as an owner of a business, you don't have time to read through everything, right? No matter how good you are and how fast you can read. So you can use AI also to just upload the proposals you get and say, give me the top 5 questions I should be asking. What is missing in this information? Or where do you see some inconsistencies that I should double check, right? And then you have very quick, like, your meeting preparation. Of course, you can still read it through, and, like, if you have a few minutes, right, and just double check. But it gives you a good indication, and you know already with which idea you should look on this table, and you might say, yep, that's true. Actually, this is not in there, right? And it would be good to know such information. So it can help you with such type of things as well, especially when you don't have a lot of time to go through reports, materials, business meetings. I mean, same thing, right? If you have business meetings, now, of course, be careful with uploading confidential information into ChatGPT, right? So there are different ways or there are different, let's say, private models, right, which are not training models on your sensitive data. So they're so-called, like, you can have your own ChatGPT, which doesn't share data with anybody else. So if you have confidential data, don't put it into a public system, obviously, right? But there's a lot of data that is publicly available, right? Which there's no harm because the data is anyway available. Such data you can also upload. I mean, there's no risk in it, right? Just sensitive data, please be careful, or like confidential data that you have NDAs with. With this one, be careful, okay? But still, there's a lot of other cases. So for example, if we look into strategic visioning of the company, like, where's the market developing to, right? Am I missing some trends? What are my competitors doing right now? this entire field of market research, I think, is also a great use case, right, Andre?
Yeah, that's very powerful. Just the analyze and also get it done to how can I market my my target market? What should I say? What is the text? How should the text look like? Or just ask for what images should I use to get to the call to action at the end of the day to get contact to my audience.
Yeah. And also thinking about new ways, collaborations, right? What have you maybe not considered yet? I mean, especially if your business is some time in the market, you may be comfortable with the situation you're in, but maybe you're missing out on big parts, big opportunities, maybe international markets that maybe you haven't been aware that maybe there's a big opportunity for you, right? That could be a great market for your product, and you just haven't been aware of it yet. So now you can ask these questions, like which regions would be smart to go into, which maybe which consumer or business types would be also interested in this products, right? Where you don't even have to change your product itself, but you just have a different market to, and they may have a very huge benefit from your product as well that immediately can grow your business with very little effort. So that could also be something to consider.
And what you also can consider is also strategic working on your company. So it's independent which strategic field it is. So most times it's about methodologies, it's about values, it's about ways how to implement the strategic parts, and the AI can support you with direct feedback, with text, with a list, how to do it.
Absolutely. And I mean, it even goes further, right? So, I mean, obviously, as a business owner, all the problems come to you, right? Anything that the company was not able to solve ends up on your desk at one point or another. So, that is also a great way to say, okay, how can we solve this? So that you don't have to always do the thinking, right? But you can ask AI and say, okay, suggest something, right? And then you can hand it back to the team and say, try that, and then see how that works. So, also on that end, it is a huge support and you not having to do all the work for what the others are not able to solve, but actually getting some support in finding solutions, finding possible solutions that can be tested by your team, for example.
Yeah, with the AI you get new employee, and we said that several times in the last sessions as well. And I guess we should go into this part the next time. How can you lead your AI employee, your new employee? So there's a lot of leadership to know about it as well.
Absolutely. So with that teaser, we are going to leave you for today. So tune in next week again when we talk about leadership of AI. And so with that, as always, you know the drill, right? Like it, subscribe it, share it, give us some nice reviews, and just support the channel if you like what we do and if you find this helpful for you or your business. So Andre, thank you so much for today's insights.
Thank you, Mona. I
And we
like
see
it.
us back next week.
Okay, see
Bye.
you. Bye bye.